Hey, what's up guys, it's BenBonk and welcome back to the 5th Slimekeep devlog. But before we do in the devlog, I want to let you guys know this devlog is going to be very technical, so if this is not your kind of thing, I'm sorry. And there's also probably not going to be a devlog until next week, because I am going to be playing a lot of the games from the BenBonk Game Jam, which is going to end today, as when you see this video. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, and so yeah, let's get into the devlog. So the first thing I started working on this week was kind of an issue that I had that I didn't mention in the last devlog, but pretty much whenever I kind of moved around and flipped around, my camera would just act really weird. And so after messing around with my cameras a bit, I ended up changing the binding mode of my camera to world space, which thankfully fixed the issue. Another suggestion that I've been getting a lot is to have it so when you hold different weapons, you'll move at different speeds. So for example, if you hold the rocket launcher, you'll move pretty slowly, but if you hold the pistol, you'll move just normally. So I set up this variable inside my scriptable object that I can control how fast the player will move while he holds that certain weapon. And after some programming and just setting everything up, I had a pretty nice system where when I hold different weapons that I can change inside of their scriptable objects, I'll move at different speeds. And I also had to rework the dash system for this, so that was also kind of some work, but in the end I think it works perfectly and I'm pretty happy with it. I also got another suggestion to have it so you could see what your offhand weapon is, and so I set that up in the UI also. It's pretty easy to do, so now you can just see what your secondary weapon is and you can switch between them to tell what your other weapon is, which I think is a pretty cool system and it's just pretty easy to set up. And I don't want to forget to say, you can probably also see this, that I added more screen shake for different weapons also inside of my scriptable object that I can initialize on how much screen shake I want that weapon to have. Now the main focus of this week was to improve and work on my kind of slime death animation and my slime upgrading animations so I could work on slimes much easier in the future and create new slimes much more effectively. I can see my slime death animations would play sometimes, would glitch out, stop early, and overall just a complete mess. I spent a ton of time trying to work on and fix these kind of slime animation errors, and time after time I just could not get anything working. So I decided that I could maybe instead try to rework my slime upgrading system, which might fix the problem instead. I really wanted to make it so I can make new slimes efficiently and easily, and I wanted to make sure that I could have them also be performance friendly. So I started off by making a scriptable object, but as it turned out, I didn't think that was the best option because I didn't really need to use a scriptable object for these things, unlike I kind of did need to use for weapons. So instead of doing a scriptable object, my focus then shifted to classes, but then I also was confused with classes, and I just had to try to, instead work my own slime upgrading system. As I was kind of stuck on this, I instead decided to work on my kind of weapon rotating and flipping system. You might have seen it used to be really kind of buggy, but now it's much more stationary, feels just much smoother overall to the player, and just less kind of janky overall. Then I got back to work on my enemy upgrade system, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I was completely stuck on this for quite a while, because not only do I have to think about getting it just to work, but I also have to think about performance and making sure I'm utilizing RAM, making sure it's not going to lag the play or anything like that. So originally I had a separate script for enemy upgrading, and it'd have all the kind of prefabs of these separate enemies that I was going to upgrade through, and then just cycle through them, setting them active and disactive when I want to cycle through them. But then I kind of realized, thanks to some of the help from two people in my Discord, it's Waza and Virona Chorus, so huge shout out to them, spending so much time out of their day to help me through this and making sure I'm doing things efficiently as possible. They kind of told me and made me realize how inefficient this was. Now it wouldn't be good for the performance of my game. So I ended up having to scrap quite a few hours of work, and I ended up having to totally rework my enemy upgrade system. The reason I'm doing this in the first place is because the reason I was doing it before is I was just changing the sprites of my thing, which was kind of strange because I'd have to change colliders and all this stuff, and so I'd rather just work on it some other way and have different prefabs of each game or each enemy, so it'd be much easier to understand and edit like that. So here's my old enemy system, and you can see it works just fine, but if it wasn't for those two people I mentioned before, Waza and Virona Chorus, probably would have been very bad for my game overall, and I'm just glad they helped me out through this and pointed it out, because this probably would have been bad if I ended up keeping this in the game. So I'm glad I reworked it again, which I'll explain in just a second. So the final upgrade system did look something like this. I ended up changing it a bit and not use a raise, but then as you can see it does work just fine. It may not look like there's any change at all, but it's just more performance friendly, and even though I am instantiating, I probably could use classes I'm just going to stick with instantiating for now, but if I really need to, I can switch over to classes at some point. This was great that my new upgrade system was working perfectly, but the problem was at this point is that I had so much problems with the death animations still. It was just such a pain. I mean, this is what I spent the majority of this devlog kind of working on. I probably spent way too long, and I've probably way more easy solutions, but then I fiddled around for a few hours just trying to get all these animations working. Sometimes they would stop playing in the middle, I'd shoot them, I'd kill a slime, it'd just play and then it'd stop or wouldn't play at all, and it's just super glitchy overall, and I spent so much time trying to figure that out. But then I ended up just taking a break from that, and I worked on a few other small things. So I've been playing a lot of Enter the Gungeon recently, and I think it's good for me to like kind of play it, as there's a lot of really good things it does well. And so I think I can kind of, learn from Enter the Gungeon and use some of the things inside of my game. And one of the things I really liked about it is how you can right click to dodge roll. And so I kind of made it so I can also right click, or I can still shift if I want to dash inside of my game, which I think it's a really small change, but I think it makes the player feel a little better. So if you want to right click, you can. While I was in the mood to fix some small things, another small glitch I noticed that happened is sometimes when I shoot right when I reload, it'll kind of glitch out the gun and make it really small and kind of squashed up. So I just added one line of code and fixed that pretty easily. And then I got back to working on my animations, and Waza told me about this crossfading stuff, and it's pretty cool, and it actually made my game work pretty well. I mean, the animations are so much better. They actually play pretty much every single time. There's a few tiny glitches that I might have to fix, but they actually work really nice and everything looks really smooth. I'm not gonna lie or make anything up, but this took me way too long than it should have, and I probably could have figured it out in just a few minutes, but it did end up taking me hours pretty much overall since the time I started working on it. But in the end, I'm just really glad I got it somewhat working, and thanks to everyone who just helped me out through this whole entire process on my Discord server. The next thing I wanted to add was another change to my bullets, and so I created this new variable that I could change when making pretty much every single weapon somewhat inaccurate. I noticed one of the things in Enter the Gungeon that's kind of a selling point of a weapon is its accuracy or inaccuracy, like how the hunter's crossbow is very, very accurate, which is kind of a selling point for it and why you should use it, while a lot of some guns might be powerful but they're just really inaccurate. So I kind of like that idea, and so I made every single gun kind of inaccurate. This is pretty easy to do, as I already had like this kind of setup for my machine gun. I just turned it into a variable, so now I can just change how inaccurate my projectiles are for my weapons. So pretty much now every single one of my weapons is somewhat inaccurate. It might just be slightly noticeable, but I think it is just a kind of a good change overall for my game. Throughout development, another weapon issue I've kind of been noticing is how some weapons kind of have messed up shot points. So you can see this machine gun sometimes kind of shoots below, or if I shoot from the left, it'll shoot like way too inward. And I spent a lot of time trying to fix this. I mainly just wanted to try to get this video out as soon as possible. That's why I didn't really spend too much time on it, but I started working on some kind of system. It kind of failed, it kind of worked, but then it kind of just acting weird, and by now it already been kind of lit. I kind of missed my deadline of like this Friday for every single devlog, so that's when I started getting this devlog out, and so I stopped working on that. But just know I am aware of this issue, and I do want to make sure to fix it at some point in the future. And my system that right now kind of fixed it a little bit, but there's still some glitches. Well guys, that is going to pretty much wrap up this devlog. I'm sorry if I didn't get too much done. I know I always kind of say this same thing, but I spent so much time, a ridiculous amount of time, way more than I needed to, on the enemy death animations. It's not working. That's what I spent at least like 2 or 3 days on. I know it's ridiculous, I'm sorry. But yeah, and I'm sorry also that I've kind of just been doing weapons all, every single devlog, making some weapon changes, but just, I'm trying to get them looking as best as possible, and there's a lot of changes that I need to make still to the weapons, believe it or not. But if you guys did like this devlog, or if you have any suggestions for the game, and roast my code, or any of that kind of stuff, please leave in the comments below. I try to read the comments, or the best way to reach me really is my Discord server. I'll pretty much read every single DM there. But yeah, I hope you guys did like this devlog. If you did, maybe like or subscribe would really help out. And thanks. And I'll see you guys in the next devlog. Bye.